Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's session. So today's session is our third session on improving our karmic balance sheet. So our karmic balance sheet is composed of our health, our wealth, our relationships, and our spirituality. So today we'll be talking about our health. Okay. Okay, so welcome to our session. So today we'll be talking about the karmic balance sheet of health. Okay, so most of us are aware that sometimes we end up having some health problem or the other, and sometimes we're like, why did this happen to me? Like, I eat healthy, or I often you may have also heard of people who they have a very healthy lifestyle, but somehow they end up having, like, let's say, God forbid, a heart attack, or some other ailment, which is kind of like not expected, right? So we need to be aware that the karmic balance sheet stretches not just across this lifetime but also across previous lifetimes. So in case we have done something in a previous lifetime, also that's going to affect the situation in this particular lifetime. So of course, as with Master Choa's teachings, it's like, okay, so what do we do to solve that? One, of course, is what we call preventive healing, right? So if we know that we have a certain ailment in the family, or that we have a tendency in a certain family, then we can do preventive healing. So again, in the advanced pranic healing book as well as the basic pranic healing book, there are a lot of protocols, right? So you know that there is let's say, for example, if in a family there is a tendency to have blood sugar or diabetes, so then it's a good idea to do preventive healing if you are a healer, and not have that come, right? Okay, so those are some of the things that we can think of in pranic healing. Now the question is that we want to improve our karmic balance sheet, that's true, but what is the karmic balance sheet right now for our health? So if we look at our health, what is working all right? Okay, do we have something that's working all right? So for me, I can definitely say right now, my eyes, my nose, my mouth, my ears, they're working all right. My arms and legs are working all right. Um, my stomach is working all right. So there are a lot of things that are working all right, right? So first, let's be grateful for what works. So a couple of, the most important technique that I have learned in terms of improving my balance sheet is gratitude. If I'm grateful that my body works, that's good. If I'm grateful that I find a healer who is willing to heal me, that is also a form of gratitude. That is also good luck, right? Because we have to be aware that there are many people who go from place to place, looking for a solution to a health problem, which they sometimes don't find for a very long time. And for most of us in pranic healing, we know that one thing that we can do is that we can also pray for correct diagnosis. So sometimes when we have, patients coming in, clients coming in, and the doctors are giving them, different kind of advice, or they have multiple organs that are affected, then what we also tell them is that, okay, let us start the healing and let us see what happens. And very often in my experience, we found that the doctors will then start to come together, and the doctors will start to come up with a diagnosis that works for everything. So instead of kind of not being able to agree, or the family not finding a doctor that can understand their whole problem, they also tend to find a doctor that will help them with their problem. So that's also something to be grateful for, right? So, one of the most important things, like I feel now, is gratitude for what we have, right? So whatever works in our body, let's be grateful for that. Okay, so let's close our eyes, be aware of what works in our body. Inhale and exhale. So the first thing is to be grateful for our breath. The fact that we're all here, we're all breathing. Inhale and exhale. Let's be grateful for whatever works in our body. Yes, there may be some problems, but some things must also be working properly. Feel your body. Let's feel our body. Let's feel the breath going in and the breath coming out. And let's be aware of this fabulous creation, which is called the human body. Now, in this book, The Existence of God is Self-Evident by Master Choa Kok Sui, he says something very beautiful. He says, the existence of God is self-evident. It is amazing that those who have eyes do not see. The evidence of a camera factory is self-evident by the existence of the camera. The existence of God is self-evident by the existence of the eye, which is infinitely more complicated than a camera. So for those of us who can, just try and go get on YouTube or something and look for the components of a camera and try to understand how many components are there in a camera. So if there are that many components in a camera, guess what? How many components are there in our eyes? And there's another one he says, which I find very beautiful. This is Sutra number 3, where he says the existence of a water pump factory is self-evident by the existence of the water pump. The existence of God is self evident by the existence of the heart, which is more complex and more durable than a metallic water pump. So, what does this mean? Like the heart, for example, once it starts pumping when we are born, it doesn't stop till we are pretty much dead, right? So, non-stop. So, can you imagine any other equipment that we have that can work for so long? Right. So the first thing is to, be grateful, to actually marvel at the beauty of the human body. And when we have that kind of reverence towards God, respect to the teacher who has taught us all these beautiful things, then we find that the gratitude level goes up, and that itself will improve our karmic balance sheet. So for those of us who are pranic healers, you can just you can scan yourself aura now, and then you can scan yourself after you express some gratitude, maybe in our own minds, to the Supreme God for this particular body that we have. Okay. So that's first step. Okay. Second step is, if in case we have a certain kind of problem, either in the family or in our own human body, what we can do is we can tithe to a certain organization that has treatments for that type of problem. So let's say, for example, we have children who are not eating properly, for example. That's a common complaint that we hear of from mothers. So if you have a child who's not eating properly, one way to solve that is perhaps to make a donation to an orphanage because their children don't get to eat. Okay. So again, these are all karmically related, what we call ailments or problems, which we can solve using pranic healing techniques. So what we can do is we can organize a feeding at an orphanage, or, maybe on the street where there are children who are hungry, right? So try to donate there. Suppose that in your family, god forbid, there is a tendency of people to get diabetes, for example. So then maybe you can do some of your tithing. As in the pranic healing school, we suggest that you donate 10% of your income to charity. So some part of that income you can also give to perhaps an organization that is treating people who have diabetes problems or are doing research. What about kidneys? In case we have a family where people have kidney problems, then again, we can make donations to organizations that are taking care of patients for kidney dialysis. So this is a more pointed way of, solving a karmic problem. So often in our treatments, when we have clients, when we have patients, we often tell them, if in case you have a problem of a certain type, it's a good idea to donate for the treatment of somebody else for that particular ailment. Why? Because it's like when we give, that's when we are entitled to receive. Now, this also works for people. Sometimes we get people who tell us that, I've been healing and I've been getting healing for a very long time and I'm not getting well. And often when this comes from people who are Arhatic yogis or people who have done basic pranic healing workshops, then my suggestion to them often is, okay, maybe you need to start healing somebody. Okay, so that basically improves our karmic entitlement to receive the healing. So obviously, let's say, for example, if you have a serious problem, you can't obviously heal somebody else with as serious a problem, but you can definitely heal someone for something, right? For a cold, for a cough, for a fever, for a stomach ache, something like that. So those things also will help us to improve our karmic balance sheet related to health. Okay. Now, a couple of other things we're going to talk about, which are from Master Choa Kok Sui's Pranic Healing book. So, again, we know we are born with certain ailments. We know we can get certain ailments because of the family karma, because of the national karma, because of the body type, because of the place where we live. There are all these kind of karmas to work out, right? So here, of course, we are talking more about how do we solve these particular problems. So, just a reminder. So, I hope everyone here is taking a salt bath. So, over here, he says on page 28, Master Choa Kok Sui says, taking a warm bath with salt has a self healing effect on the body. Okay. He talks about exercises. He says, physical exercise plays a vital role in maintaining self healing and maintaining one's health. Warm up exercises, dancing, sports, hatha yoga, martial arts, tai chi, all improve the circulation of the body. So sometimes, we are so tired, or we have people who are so unwell that you really can't ask them to exercise, perhaps. So one of the things that I found to be really, really helpful, excuse me, with some of my clients is that I tell them, okay, get up and just walk for 5 minutes in your own house once a day. Just 5 minutes in your own house once a day. Okay. Even something as small as that, 5 minutes of walking. Sometimes when we tell people go for a walk, they start thinking of, oh my God, shoes, clothes, this, that, I have to go for a 1 hour walk. I can't do that much. Don't get too caught up with that. Let's at least encourage our clients as well as ourselves to walk for 5 minutes. Let's say you're on a phone call, right? And you don't need to be at a desk. Then you can just get up, and while you're talking, you can, pace up and down. That's also a form of small exercise. But these are just ways to improve, our health by being a little bit more mobile, right? Because we all know these days we are mostly sitting, right? Okay. So also, Master Cho, and I've tried this, it's really nice. It says drink energized water or water that has been exposed to the sun. So, what we do sometimes is that we take, a glass of water, and you can just put that glass of water in the sun, someplace where the sun comes in. It can be on your terrace or just any window where the sun comes in. Just leave it for a few hours, and then the next day or later in the evening, you can have the energized water. One thing that I've noticed is that having this water too close to the night is not a good idea, because what tends to then happen is that you may get over energized, because this contains a lot of solar prana. If you put water in the sun, it contains a lot of solar prana. So, that just makes me wonder that, at the times when people were using, ponds as water sources, perhaps, that's probably why they had a lot of energy also, is because that water was exposed to the sun. So what we tend to do is that we'll expose the water to the sun one day, and then the following morning, we can consume the water. Okay. Okay. Exposing your body to the morning sun for about 5 to 10 minutes, and simultaneously doing visualization and or pranic breathing to draw in solar energy. This should not be done more than once a week. If you do it every day for a year, it can have an adverse effect on the body and may result in cancer. So again, we're not saying that you don't go out in the sun every day. We're just saying if you're planning to do pranic breathing, it's a good idea to do it in the sun for once a week only. And of course, all forms of negative emotions and thoughts should be avoided or minimized, since this can only aggravate the condition. So, coming back to thoughts and emotions. So, if we have a body part that's paining, for example, today I just finished an advanced pranic healing workshop, and we talked about this there as well. Is suppose we have, let's say I have pain in my body. Now, I can also say, I always get pain in my body. I can say that, right? Or I can say, today I have pain in my body, and now I'm going to get better because I'm going to rest, or I'm going to, apply some balm, or I'm going to take a bath with salt water, or something like that. So, what I'm suggesting is that instead of just being like, oh, I'm sick, or oh, I'm sick, or oh, I'm sick, perhaps we can also work on the solution, and we can verbalize the solution. So, we can tell ourselves, you know, okay, my leg is paining, but I'm going to do this and it's going to get better. Or my leg is paining, but I'm going to take, some medicine and it's going to get better. Or I'm going to do self healing, which would be ideal, that you do self healing, because that will help your body to recover also. So One of the things that I find very incredible is that when we do pranic healing, we are not only just removing the physical ailment, we are also actually removing other things like negative thoughts, negative emotions. Sometimes if you have a very powerful healer, they're also actually removing some of the ancient karmic seeds that are there in our chakras. So, again, to learn more about this, you can join our workshops. But the most important thing I feel is to get around to doing healing. Sometimes we get caught up with like the techniques, sometimes we get caught up with learning new techniques. But if just get started. If you already know, just get started. If you don't know, take the pranic healing workshop in your nearest center, and let's improve our health, let's improve our karmic balance sheet. Okay, so what have we talked about? We've talked about gratitude for what works in our body. We've talked about doing healing for our health. We've talked about tithing for specific purposes. We've talked about thoughts and emotions and how to communicate our thoughts and emotions about our body, especially to ourselves. And of course, the one of the most powerful techniques to improve our karmic balance sheet in all aspects of life is the twin hearts meditation, right? Because what we do there is that we bless the earth. We open our heart and we bless the earth. Now, that itself, when we are blessing the earth, we are giving the earth whatever the earth requires. So, we are blessing people with health, we are blessing people with good emotions, we are blessing people with finances. Simple, right? 20 minutes a day and you're sorted, right? So, let's close our eyes, connect the tongue to the palate. Take a deep breath in slowly and gently. Be aware of what we have. Whatever parts of our body are working, let's be grateful. Inhale and exhale. Let's think of the Supreme God. Let us invoke to the Supreme God. To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Divine Mother, we thank you for your priceless blessings, for divine light, divine love, divine guidance, divine love, mercy, inner healing, physical healing. Thank you for the inner strength to practice regularly. Thank you for your divine help and protection, for illumination, abundance, and prosperity. We thank you. Let's raise our hands in blessing position. Let's be aware of the crown. Let's be aware of our heart. Let's be aware of our hands. Let's be aware of the tremendous energy that comes in through the crown when we are grateful. Inhale and exhale. Let's bless every part of our body. Let's bless the healthy parts. Let's bless the head, the torso. Let's bless our arms and legs. Fill them with divine, beautiful energy. Let us be grateful to God for everything in our body that works. Let's bless our entire health. Let's bless our emotional health. Let's bless ourselves with the ability to have good emotions, with the ability to express our emotions in a calm way. Even if they are negative emotions, we can still learn to express them in a calm and a gentle way. Let's bless our thoughts, our mental body with good thoughts, with the ability to create good thoughts, the ability to change negative thoughts into positive thoughts by our words, our actions, and energy. Let's also bless every person on the planet with good health. If there's a specific ailment that we have in our family or in our body, let's bless all the people on the planet who may have a similar ailment with divine healing, with the right medical treatment, at the right budget, May the Lord God send his angels, his devas, and divine assistance to help every person, every being who may be suffering with bad health. Let's once again bless ourselves, our financial targets, our health targets, our relationship targets, and our spiritual targets. Let's also bless the entire planet Earth with rapid evolution. May the Buddha Kuan Yin, with her divine compassionate light, extract, externalize, and raise to high vibrations all negative energies associated with the coronavirus that is causing the pandemic on the planet right now. Lord God, we thank you for your blessings. To Buddha Kuan Yin, we thank you for your blessings. Thank you for helping us to help others. Let's also bless all the healers on the group as well as on the planet. May they be able to heal many, many people. May all of us who have done pranic healing workshops take up a mission to heal at least one person every single day. And if you don't have anyone around you, let's take up a mission to heal ourselves. Inhale and exhale. Gently open your eyes. So one more little thing I wanted to say is that when we take pranic healing, and this happened to me also, is that when we take pranic healing, we not only get rid of the ailment, but we also get rid of a lot of the karma that is related to that ailment. So that's also one of the reasons why I would recommend, in case you're ailing with something, go ahead and try pranic healing. Not only will your ailment be gone, but also your balance sheet will improve karmically, because there are many, many things that the healer takes care of. Okay. And there are many, many suggestions that the healer will make for you to do, which will definitely, definitely improve, each of our karmic balance sheets. Okay. So let's do this. And thank you so much. So thank you everyone for joining us for our session on the karmic balance sheet. As you can see, it's quite simple to do. And those of us who are watching this on YouTube later, please join us for our live sessions at 4 o'clock. That's when we do the talk, and we also follow it up with meditation and with mass healing. So what we try to do is we try to heal whatever parts of the balance sheet, and especially on the topics that we talk about. So go ahead and subscribe to our channel, and also see you soon on our live sessions. Okay, thank you so much.